Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the real reason why most Americans, why most people out there will just never live in Mexico. Now, let's get this straight. There's a big difference between coming out here as a tourist and actually coming out here to live. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to where we're going, where we're at. We are in San Crisanto. We are on the beach of San Crisanto, which is on the Yucatan Peninsula and is about an hour and a half away from Merida, Yucatan, which is where I live and I make most of my videos from. For those of you guys that are new here, welcome. I make videos, talking about living in Mexico as, an American, as an expat. And I really like to show you as much as I can the real nitty gritty, of how life is out here, just all of it, everything. And many times I like to just point the camera forward and show you, like on this episode where we're taking a bike ride through the beach. So with that being said, I want to give you a little caveat. Again, please, I am sorry. Forgive me. When I put the camera on, and again, I was just on the beach. I was on my friend Dave's electric bike. If you guys don't know who he is, check out last episode. He was letting me borrow his electric bike while we were out here on the beach, and I just kind of strapped the camera on. I wasn't paying attention. The beach, had a few drinks, you already know. And so I was just trying to capture some footage, and unfortunately, you're going to be able to see the handlebars and the brakes and all that stuff. So I apologize ahead of time that the footage isn't as perfect as I would have liked it to be. But, with that being said, let's get into it. Why is it that most people just will not survive out here, will never, come out here and really live a loving and fulfilling life like a lot of you guys picture? Because look, you guys see a lot of my videos, a lot of other people's videos out there of people that live here. You might come out here on vacation, or have this idea in your head as to what life is going to actually be like when you move, out here to Mexico. And then when you get out to Mexico, oh my God, it's a living nightmare. Now, again, this is not for everybody. There's a lot of people out there, again, me included, which love living in Mexico. And I mean, again, I've said it many times. I never felt more at home until I stepped off the plane and I got here and I started living here and I started experiencing life out here that I just, fell in love at first sight, and I never left. I've been here this whole time, and it's amazing. I love it out here so much. And so many of you people, so many of you guys out there, you come to Mexico and you don't feel the same way. It might be immediate as to when you come out here and immediately, yeah, sure, you're having fun, little touristy stuff, but you can't wait to get home and you'll never come back. Some people, come out here, and every time that you come out here on vacation, you love it, but then when you actually make the transition to live out here, you hate it. And some people that just come out here to live out here never ever, again, even knowing anything about what it is to live out here, and obviously you hate it, and you end up going home. And but again, there's a lot of people that really love it, and that's the beauty of it. There's a lot of people like me. I come out here, love it, stay. A lot of you guys, same thing. But we're going to be talking about, that's why I make these videos. We're going to be talking about, some of the reasons. There's too many reasons to really talk about and mention here. We're going to try to talk about as many as possible. If there's anything that I missed, please go on ahead and leave it in the comments, and let's continue the conversation there. All right. But I made a list of a lot of the top reasons as to why a lot of people out there, man, again, they just cannot hack it out here in Mexico, for lack of a better description. You just can't make it out here, can't survive out here, however you want to describe it. So let's just start off, with the fact that there's a lot of people out there that just they confuse freedom with comfort. They think that comfort equals freedom. And I think that's more of a societal thing. And a lot of people, unfortunately, that, come from a very comfortable lifestyle. There's a lot of people out there that just have this, certain idea of what, the perfect life is, and, just being totally comfortable. And a lot of people, in a sense, live that way in the USA. Even though they might not like their life, they still live very comfortably. So what happens is that they think or they assume that that is freedom. So when they come out here, they want to continue living like that. And yet, they realize that in order to live like that, they got to kind of put themselves in a very similar position that they were in before they left. Okay. And that's the thing, a lot of people just don't realize, and don't understand that freedom, in order to really have freedom, it comes at a cost. And most people, they're just not willing to pay the cost. They're not willing to pay the piper, to really have freedom. And what they really want is actually comfort. And so a lot of people, they come out here and all of a sudden they want to recreate their life back home. And a lot of that involves expenses, meaning, hey, I want to have a car. Hey, I want to have a fancy house. Hey, I want to make sure that, I have all of these luxuries, all of these modern comforts. In fact, many people, they could not afford some of these luxuries or comforts back home. And then now they want them here. And now they're also struggling here or struggling more here. And so then, the whole idea, the whole, fantasy just kind of like dissipates. It dissolves. Now, again, it's all going to be different for every single person out there. If you guys saw last episode and you saw how Dave lives, how I live, again, it's not a pampered, comfortable life. Instead of getting in the car to go to the grocery store, we have to walk to get to the fruit vendor, which is, again, a block away. It's not that big of a deal, but for a lot of people that are just not used to walking that much, or just the idea of having to walk, to go get, some groceries is so foreign to them that alone is enough to burst the bubble of, what it is to live in Mexico and what it is to have a life in Mexico. Because again, there are many places in Mexico. Don't get it twisted. I've shown you, and you guys can see for yourself in other YouTube videos out there, that Mexico, is not a third world country. It is a first world country, and it has a lot, if not all, of the first world comforts that you want or have or whatever. But those come at a cost. And in order to live, with all those comforts, you're gonna have to, pay the piper. So that's the thing. And so a lot of people, they realize that when they come to Mexico, it's not going to be an easy life. And when it's not an easy life with all the comforts, then they, run away scared. But for a lot of people, all right, that are seeking freedom and are willing to put in the work, they realize, oh my God, I can have my easy life out here in Mexico. Because again, I think that I consider myself now living an easy life in compared to what I used to live. All right. Back when I used to work 9 to 5, when I used to be a chef, when I used to cook, when I used to have to live that regular life that a lot of people live, and I was not free. I thought I was free, but I was not free, as opposed to now, where I do live a free life. But I have to put in the work. I got to make sure that I got to wake up and I got to make these YouTube videos. I got to go on ahead and I got to thank my members, my patrons. I got to thank every single one of you guys that is always helping me with the show, by sending me a few bucks, through PayPal, paying for the questions, doing all of the things that you do to help support the show. I'm going to be doing more things, in order to give back to you guys and help you guys support the show and so on and so forth. But long story short, I got to put in the work, whether it's, the little mini ad there that I did for myself on everything I do here, or, the videos or the content that I make. And even if I didn't make YouTube videos, let's just assume I'm not a YouTuber and I didn't do this, I have to go out there and work. And so in this country, I can have like a taco stand. I can open up a business. I can do a lot of many things, okay, in order to make money. And I'm not as restricted. But long story short, that freedom that I'm going to get out here in Mexico will come at some sort of cost. In this case, I got to put in some sort of work. I can grow a garden very easily, and I can have a lot of free food available, but that also comes at a cost. I got to put in the work to learn how to garden, to tend to the garden, to all that stuff, okay? Trust me, I've been learning that now as I've had a garden, okay? And it's been giving me a lot of freedom as to, hey, if the crap hits the fan, I'll be fine because, I'll be able to eat because of, being able to grow my own food. But again, that comes at a cost, and it's a cost that I am more than happy to pay in order for that, again, peace of mind, okay? That freedom that I don't have to depend on anyone or anything. Now, again, I live in Mexico where I can, mix and match with the community that is also growing things, that is also, butchering animals, that also has, chickens with eggs, and we can all barter and trade and so on and so forth. And again, back during the pandemic, which, we're all kind of like sitting at home and we couldn't do much. During the first moments, during the first months of that whole situation, when things were, very wacky, nothing happened out here in the sense that, like, even though everything was frozen and stopped and only Walmart and a few places were open, it didn't matter. I didn't have to go to Walmart, I didn't have to go to these stores. All the little small community stores, all the butcher shops, all the fruit vendors, everybody, all those people, every single one in the community, they were still active and alive and well. And a lot of times, people couldn't even get money out of the bank for whatever reason. It didn't matter. They could just barter and they could just, hey, don't worry, I'll pay you back Tuesday. I know you're my neighbor, yada, yada, yada. The whole community aspect of it. So a lot of people, they come out here and they just don't want to talk to the neighbors. They don't want to interact with the neighborhood. They don't want to any of that. And all of a sudden they get upset when all the neighbors want to talk to them and they want to interact with them and they want to build a community and they're curious as to who you are and vice versa. And all they want to do is get to know you so that in case the crap hits the fan, which it does, life happens. Remember, we're living in a totally free country out here in which, you can't depend on the government or the police or anything. You got to depend on yourself and your neighbors and your neighborhood. Well, they want to know you and you should know them so that, again, no matter what happens, you're never alone. You have the whole community. Everyone's taking care of each other in one shape, form, or another. And unfortunately, that's like one of the major problems that a lot of people have when they come out here, is the fact that they just refuse to learn the language. And look, it's okay if you don't know the language. I mean, again, Dave and so many other people out there do not know Spanish, and they get along great. And they live right in the middle of the Mexican neighborhood. And why is that? Well, simply put, because they're nice. Okay, they're humble. They are, very appreciative, of everything. The fact that, like, again, they're appreciative that that the neighborhood and the neighbors are being, very kind and friendly and patient with him because he doesn't know Spanish and so on and so forth. And so, that's the idea, being humble and not coming out here and trying, to be like you're better than everybody else and coming out here with any kind of elitism and thinking, hey, why aren't you speaking English? You got to be speaking English, what. And the Mexicans in Mexico that speak Spanish are looking at you like, hey, gringo, you got to learn how to speak Spanish. What are you talking about? Bruh. So, again, it's so many things like that. And a lot of people, they come out here and they refuse to assimilate. They refuse to, that's what we mean by assimilate. It's just so many things, It's like, hey, you got to be nice to your neighbor. You got to assimilate a little bit with the culture. It's Look, you can keep your culture. You know what I mean? Like I still do American things. I still do Cuban things. I mean, come on, give me a break here. Remember, my parents are Cuban. I was born in the USA. All right, so I have like a whole thing, and like I still keep all of that. You know what I mean? And now I do Mexican things. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. And so a lot of people they just don't even want to do any of that. They just want to stay set in their ways, and they never want to change, and they never want to budge, and then they get upset and mad as to why everything around them is Mexican or Hispanic, or why things are the way they are. So for example, like just the other day I saw something in one of the Facebook groups where one of the expats, was showing their doorbell footage, okay? And it was showing two other expats that were walking their dogs, and their dogs just happened to pee, to use the restroom right there in front of the house. All right. And they walked away, And they cleaned up and they walked away. And they were upset that they did that in front of their house. And it's like, we're in Mexico, I mean, God, I mean, they cleaned it up, for crying out loud, you know what I mean? And you're still upset that the dog was doing its thing there. So that's the thing. Out here, people that act that way or get upset with things like that, they get upset with, like, for example, the gas guy coming through the neighborhood and honking his horn really loud, or their tortilla vendor, coming through the neighborhood and honking their hank, 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 or to sell whatever, and just the sounds of Mexico, what makes Mexico Mexico. The people that just get annoyed with the way things are in Mexico. And look, again, it's a giant cultural change for whoever moves out here, but at the end of the day, if you don't embrace those things, you're going to be miserable, and a lot of people just choose to not embrace them. Look, some of the cultural differences are not easy to accept. They're just not, but it is what it is. And there's nothing really you can do about that. And, the thing is that we all just got to get along and each other out here. And there are going to be noises. There are going to be, the neighbor's going to have a party from time to time. You cannot call the police because they're making too much noise. There's just going to be so many things that are just going to be, culturally different. And if you don't embrace them, they're just going to be, a living nightmare. And so a lot of people, they're used to whatever it is that they came from, wherever they came from, USA, Canada, Europe, whatever. And then they come to Mexico and they just cannot handle the way the Mexicans are. Now, again, for me, when I moved out here to Mexico, I was like, oh my God, these people are awesome. Mexico is awesome. And it's been constantly like that. And a lot of you guys also think the same way. A lot of you guys come out here to Mexico and you guys, I mean, you guys embrace it so much. You love it so much. You know what I mean? And they love the fact that you love it so much. That's another thing too. A lot of people just get that confused. There's most Mexicans out there, enjoy the fact that we are out here. We're spending money out here. We're bringing our culture out here. Again, they get to practice their English with a real American gringo. If all of a sudden you're making American food, they get to have a real authentic American food, whatever it is you're making. Whatever it is you're doing, they're very interested, very curious, very friendly, very nice. And a lot of people, again, they just are not used to that, and they think that, hey, what do you want from me? Why are you being so nice? Look, I was a little guilty of that when I first moved out here because, I come from a rough part of the country and a rough background. And so, a lot of times when I see people that are too nice, I'm like, hey, what's going on here? What are you trying to sell me? What are you trying to do here? But, I quickly realized, oh, no, wait a minute. Everyone here is actually just genuinely nice for the most part all over Mexico. And a lot of times, they really are just, they want to, know more about you and vice versa. If you're out here wearing a giant sombrero and, trying to, just embrace the Mexican culture as hardcore as possible, they're going to love it. Why would they hate that? They love that. You know what I mean? They that's the thing. What they hate, what most Mexicans really hate is, you're just entitlement. If you're coming out here and acting like an entitled American, like an entitled gringo, and you're stepping all over them and their culture and everything about them. But if you're coming out here waving the Mexican flag with a Mexican hat, drinking tequila, most of them are going to love you. Now, yeah, they're going to have all different opinions about you, but, some good, some bad. But at the end of the day, they're like, oh, look at that guy. That guy really loves Mexico. Yeah. Things like that. And that's the thing, But there's many people, like I said, that come out here and, unfortunately, they do not embrace anything about Mexico, and they just want to step all over everything that is Mexican and the Mexican culture, and the Mexicans do not appreciate that. And the Mexicans, for the most part, yeah, they'll be nice, but then they will not be nice. And that's the thing, they'll be nice to a point. And, they'll take matters into their own hands if they have to. And because, again, no police or no other kind of entity is going to step in and, save your day or anything. And so, that's like their big reality. You know what I mean? The thing is that a lot of people, they just, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to get used to when you move out here. And some people can embrace it. Some people can handle it. Some people, it's not that big of a deal. But for some people, it is a big, big cultural change. A lot of people out there, they just refuse to figure out how Mexico works. They come from, the USA, Canada, Europe, and there's a lot of rules and regulations, and things are a certain way, and yada yada yada. And then they come out here and they expect things to be exactly the same. And then when they realize that they're not, instead of embracing that fact, the fact that, everything is loosey-goosey, government and authority really are not a thing out here, and I can go on and on. Instead of embracing these things, they hate it. And they're always, complaining about the fact that, oh, how come the cop doesn't come over here and tell the neighbor to be quiet? How come, this government entity takes so long to do this, and that? How come, this business gets to operate this way? How come these people get to do all these things? And that's it. A lot of people, they come out here and they're like, oh my God, this is a third world country, because they have no respect for authority or no real rule of law, in the sense that you see people that are constantly breaking the law, and people just don't understand that, or don't understand how government works, or how a lot of entities work out here. And unfortunately, they just get extremely frustrated with the fact that all this freedom is too much for them to handle, and they actually again go back home because of things like that, because they want to live in a very comfortable place, in a comfortable system, in a place that has just the government makes things comfortable for them. Again, we all know, at a cost. And so for a lot of people, they just don't like it because of that. Now, a lot of people, me included, a lot of you guys, I think, love and embrace the fact that Mexico has a certain way of doing things. The fact that everything is, just a suggestion, things are loosey-goosey, just the way Mexico operates and runs. A lot of people not only appreciate that, but they get, they consider that even more freedom. The freedom that, of course, comes at a cost. But at the end of the day, it's something that a lot of people are more than happy to embrace. Now, going back to the whole vacation thing, again, a lot of people just get the wrong idea. They come out here and they're just used to vacationing. They're just used to coming out here to vacation, or they just have the idea of a vacation. And so they come out here to Mexico, and, I understand that at first you kind of might think of it as a vacation, but eventually you're going to have to realize that you're going to be living here, and you got to treat it as such, as the fact that you are moving to a new place, and you got to do all the things that you would normally be doing if you're moving to a new place. And you got to snap out of the whole idea that you're on vacation, because you're not. You're not on vacation anymore. Again, maybe at the very beginning, but eventually you're going to have to quickly, realize that you're not on vacation, and that you are actually living out here. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't live like you're on vacation. Again, I live, in a sense, very free. Even though I put a lot of work in, many times I just turn it off and I'm on vacation. I mean, I live in paradise, for crying out loud. But I have set that up for me through a lot of work, a lot of effort, and so on and so forth. And but I can do that, and you can do that out here, very easily. But the reality is that, most people just think that it's constant vacation. Now, if you are out here retired, you're just a retired person, on retirement and retire. Yeah, no, yeah, of course you're on. That's the point. You're vacationing. That's it. You're on, extended vacation forever. But I'm talking about most people these days that are not retired. In fact, the last time I heard, it seems like they keep pushing back the retirement age further and further. So most people these days, watching these videos are probably not retired, or going to be anywhere close to being retired. So with that being said, the reality is that unless you're retired, you're not on vacation. And even if you are retired, a lot of times you don't want to live like you're on vacation every day. Because sure, on paper, it sounds good to just sit there on your butt in the pool with your margarita every single day. But for a lot of people, for most people out there, that gets boring very quickly, for reals, and so you need to have something to keep you going, so you can have that reward, whether it's at the end of the day or at the end of the week, of sitting in your pool with your margarita, not just waking up doing that. And so a lot of people, when you're on vacation, you do that, But when you're living out here and it's every day, you got to figure out what you're going to do with your time. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? That's a challenge for many people, because a lot of people out there, it's hard for them to make new friends, new acquaintances, all this stuff. Some of you guys, for example, if you know Spanish, or you are very inquisitive, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like you'll be fine in just the Mexican neighborhoods, with the Mexicans, and you'll be able to make friends and all that other stuff. But for a lot of people that still don't know Spanish and only know English, and you got to rely on some of these expat enclaves or areas in order to communicate or have friends or have other people, like-minded people, it can get a little frustrating, because with everything that comes with that, all right? Remember, it's always easier said than done. A lot of people just think, oh, I'll come out here and then I'll just go to the expat groups, the expat enclaves, and I'll make a bunch of friends and everything's gonna be hunky-dory. No, it's not. Most of the time, how it really is, it's like high school all over again, only you're older. Bruh. And it sucks even more, all right, for some people, all right? And that's the thing, you know what I mean? That's really the reality of it. Now, for me, I'm basically spared that because I speak Spanish very well, and I assimilated into the Mexican culture immediately. I wasn't looking for any kind of expats or any expat groups or anything like that, because first of all, back in the day, most of the expats that were out here, or the ones that I thought were out here, were the ones that were, again, too elitist for me, and I was just a bum or what have you. But at the end of the day, I wasn't that far off. No, but at the end of the day, that was the reason I just mixed in with the Mexicans immediately, because not just that, but I also speak Spanish. So I just mixed in with them and I just stuck with them, and everything was great and wonderful. But for a lot of people that just don't have that ability to do that, you kind of stuck there. And then when you start meeting a lot of other people out there, you're going to quickly realize it's just like back home, where you might get along with one or two people, but you're not going to get along with everybody. And a lot of times you're just trying to maintain a friendship in order to satisfy that need that you're going to have of just being around a few like-minded individuals, or people that speak the same language, have the same culture, whatever, what have you. Because again, once you're out here, you're not in the USA anymore, or Canada, or Europe, or wherever you're from. You're going to not celebrate whatever holidays that you celebrate back home. There's a few holidays like Christmas and, whatever, the obvious ones. But for the most part, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving out here. They don't celebrate 4th of July out here. Cinco de Mayo is not a day out here, So Mexican Independence Day is September 15th. All right, 16th, 15th, 16th. Anyways, it's that's a new holiday you're gonna have to know. You're gonna have to know about the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. You're gonna have to know about all of these new holidays and new traditions and all this other stuff. Where one day you're just gonna wake up on a Monday morning and go to the bank or just go to run your errands, and you're like, where's everybody? What happened? What the hell? And it's just like a regular day in the middle of the week, in the middle of a month, randomly, and you don't know. It happens to me sometimes. And it's just, things are just very different. And for some people, they just cannot handle those things. Other people, they love it. They embrace it. It's not a big deal. They just, oh, great. What thing are we celebrating today? That's it. And then when you celebrate whatever you're celebrating, that's the thing. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of times, what happens is that some people, you come out here and you miss celebrating the 4th of July or Thanksgiving or some of these American holidays or whatever holidays you celebrate back in your home country. And that's the thing. A lot of people end up trying to just get together with, some other people that are from the same country, same whatever, in order to just have a little bit of a semblance of home, because you're a little bit of a homesick. Because again, don't get me wrong. I love Mexico and I'm going to live in Mexico and this is my home. But, there are certain traditions and certain things that I do miss and I still kind of do out here, like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a brand new thing for Christian and a brand new thing, for Mexicans out here, for the few that kind of, embrace it or celebrate it or whatever. But that's not a new thing for me and for us. And so that's something that I love. I love Thanksgiving. It means a lot to me, my family, again, being immigrants, so many things. It means a lot of things. And it's a very important day to a lot of Americans. And so, I celebrate it out here. And, you guys are probably going to celebrate it as well, whether you celebrate just between yourself or you and your family or you and some other expat friends, or some new Mexican friends. Like I said, just like there's Mexican friends of mine and family that will celebrate American holidays with me or Cuban holidays with me or whatever. It's basically American, okay? But just, trying to throw it out there. I embrace celebrating Mexican holidays, with them. And so it's like a, again, cultural exchange program type thing, And so that's the thing. Most Mexicans are going to love you and your culture. If you're American, they're going to love your culture and they would love to embrace it. Again, remember, American culture is very huge and vast and wide, and this makes big difference between someone from Florida, from California, Louisiana, Texas, Minnesota, Chicago, New York, Seattle, and they're going to want to know more about that. And the same thing, with them, assuming, you come out here and embrace them, embrace the culture, embrace the lifestyle, embrace everything, they're going to love you and accept you. That's simply it. It's not that complicated. You accept them, they'll definitely accept you. And so a lot of people just, they don't want to accept Mexico, and they get frustrated and upset that it's not like back home. And for those people, all I have to say, and what a lot of Mexicans just have to say, is bye, Felicia. Yeah, because seriously, it's just, it is kind of ironic and funny seeing so many people coming out here and not embracing, Mexico and wanting it to be exactly like the USA or, wherever they came from, and get upset when it's not, and end up going home because it's not, which is fine. It's great. Good. We don't need you here. We don't want you here. But that is, again, a very real thing. Look, for example, I'll give you a very real example, okay? Because it's not like everyone's a bad apple per se, all right? But like, I got family members out there that have come to visit me, and they would never in a million years want to live out here or live the way that I live or anything, all right? Like that. Now, on the flip side, I have other family members, other friends, that they will be more than happy. They would love to come and live a very similar lifestyle the way I live. They just, don't have the cojones, the balls to do it. This is simply put, Or they just got too many things tying them down back home for them to do it. Or they got a really good life back home to do it, and whatever, Doesn't matter. They got their reasons. But the reality is that, a lot of things exist, meaning, again, the family members are people that I know and I love and, come out here and they visit me. They only see this as a tourist destination. They would never in a million years want to live out here because, again, they probably have it really, really, really good in the USA. They have an awesome life back home in the USA. They enjoy the comforts, and they have freedoms in the USA. Remember, freedom is very different to everyone out there. And so, for a lot of people, they come out here and they would not be caught dead living out here, no matter what part of Mexico they're in, because to them, it's like, why would I need to come out here and change everything about my way of life and have to learn all of these things, like a new language, a new culture, a new everything, for what? I got a good where I'm from, or I enjoy my life where I'm from. So why come out here to do that? But the reality is there is a growing number of a lot of people out there that just hate their life wherever they are, or their situation is just getting worse and worse every single day. And so those are the people that are most likely watching this video all the way through to this point still, and are seriously considering, moving out here to Mexico and moving out here in order to, be able to be free and be able to live the life that they've always, wanted to live. I say it all the time. Living in Mexico is not for everyone. And before you make that giant move of moving to Mexico, make sure you know what you're getting into. It's not for everyone. For some people, they can't wait to get out here for a million reasons, a multitude of reasons. And not only can't they wait to get out here, but once they get out here, they totally embrace it, love it out here. And this is a non-issue. Everything I basically talked about is a non-issue because they everything that is Mexico is things that they always dreamed about. But There is many people out there that just have this idea of what Mexico is, and once they get out here, they hate it out here. They really do not like it out here because of one of the many reasons, or many of the many reasons that I mentioned already on today's episode. Because again, a lot of people just can't understand the way things are done out here and have no idea how to really be able to communicate with the Mexicans. And I can go on and on and on. And things out here are very different. Look, it's just like if you move to Thailand or you move to, any other part of the world. There's just a lot of things that are just not going to be the same as they are where you are from. And many times, in order to get the same product, result that you're looking for, or service that you need, you got to do it a different way, meaning that you have to acquire these things completely differently. And for a lot of people, that's just too much for them to handle. They don't understand, why, certain things are the way they are out here. It's not for you to even understand. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. The idea is that you, whoever you are leaving your country, all right? And this country of Mexico is opening their arms, allowing you to stay here, allowing you to live here, allowing you to be here, to flourish here, okay? To succeed here, to grow here, to achieve your Mexican dream, okay? Because unfortunately, the American dream is no longer available to shoppers, all right? Sorry, sold out, all right? But we got plenty of the Mexican dream, and it just so happened it's a photocopy of the American dream. And so a lot of people, they want that Mexican dream, and they know that they can come out here and get it, but they realize very quickly that it might not be for them, because all of a sudden they got to trade away all of this comfort that they have where they're from in order to pay for this freedom that they thought that they wanted. And that's the thing, it's kind of like a hard pill to swallow for many people. They come to Mexico and, things are expensive. It has nothing to do with Mexico. It has everything to do with you. Because me, for example, I live like a king and my expenses are very minimal. Okay. And that's why I can actually live off of YouTube, because I don't make that much money. I very rarely, make it through the month. Sometimes I got good months and I get to save a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I'm month to month, paycheck to paycheck, right? Google, what is it? YouTube check to YouTube check or whatever. And, a lot of the contributions that you guys, give to the show, whether it's just, a few bucks here and there, or, actually being a member or a patron, or, helping me out with the questions, or helping everyone out with the questions. That's really the best way to say it. The whole thing that we're doing where you guys get to ask me questions, and for a fee, I get to answer it in a video format for everyone to, benefit from. So anyways, I've been able to monetize what I do through a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. And I've been able to come out here and live my dream of not working for the man. Because that's really my dream. My dream is to not have to work for anyone ever again. That's it. Everyone has all kinds of dreams. Mine, very simple. That's my idea of freedom. Now, of course, there's more layers to this. We're just trying to make a quick video here. 40 minutes later. Bruh. Anyways, the point I'm making is that one of the integral parts to my happiness and freedom is the fact that I don't have to work for anyone else. Now, I do work for you guys. I do a lot of work when it comes to making videos, doing this content for this channel, doing the one-on-one Zoom meetings, the calls that I do, all the work that I do behind the scenes, all the things that I do besides this. All that helps me pay for my bills and helps me live my dream. Okay. And simply put, out here, I've been able to do that, where in the US, I would not be able to do this. In the US, I would have to do so much more and not even have a tenth of the freedom that I have here. I mean, again, I don't want to give too many details because, I've told you guys already in previous videos that I have a business that I'm trying to launch out here. That's one of the many hurdles that comes with living in Mexico, that the more legal you try to do something, the more difficult it is. So as I'm trying to launch the business and trying to make it legal, it's very difficult, you know what I mean? Even though it's a simple business, all right? But long story short, as that proceeds, I'm going to be sharing all that with you, and you're going to be seeing more of that as to how not only do I make a living out here or how I can survive out here with, again, I came out here with nothing. Most of you guys know my story. I'm here 5 years already, and I came out here with $1,500 to my name, a dream, and just a lot of work, you know what I mean? And I was able to succeed and create everything I've created thus far, and help out so many of you guys, you know, come out here and move out here and start a brand new life. And it's been an amazing ride, and I can't wait to continue on with this ride. We got so much more to do and share, and that business that I'm going to launch is part of that. You know, I'm going to be showing you that as well, so that you guys have, again, more tools at your disposal as to how you can figure it out and make it out here. Okay, as if all the videos that I've made isn't enough already, I'm going to be making even more, you know, about even more things that I haven't made videos on, but you guys need the information on. So with all that being said, I want to give a big thanks again to all my patrons, all my members. Every single one of you guys has ever contributed to the show in any way, even if you're leaving a like or a comment or sharing these videos, or again, watching the video, watching the commercials, whatever it is you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Even if you're leaving a thumbs down, trust me. Thank you. I appreciate you. You have no idea. All right. All of you guys, I love all of you guys, and again, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be able to help so many of you guys, and to be able to make these videos, and to be able to live this way. I mean, you have no idea. I know it's a lot of work, and I put in a lot of work, but again, a lot of it, you know what I mean, has to do with you guys. You know, again, I gotta have an audience, right? And I gotta have people interested in what I'm making, and that's you guys. And thank you so much. So with that big mouthful and that big ending, I want to give a shout out to all of you. And oh yeah, do the ending. Sorry. Bruh. I lost my train of thought. God. All right. I'm going to leave all this in. Guys, you already know what's up. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.